say today, there was one question that I thought needed to be answered. Is marriage dumb? Some may say that that is an inappropriate question for a wedding. Some may say it was even more inappropriate for our brothers to nod a little too aggressively when I said it. Now, I realize I may be a strange person to ask that question, seeing as we have both grown up and witnessed our parents being happily married for a combined 83 years. I don't know if that number is accurate, but I just figured if I said it with authority, you guys believe it. While we have our parents' example to look up to, we certainly don't have to look too far to find the opposite. I think of my grandfather, who was also happily married, multiple times. And it's fair to say that his healthiest relationship was with the one woman who wouldn't marry him. So we really need to consider the pros and cons of this institution. When we talk about the benefits of marriage, people almost universally bring up the same point: the taxes. Everyone wants to save a buck. No one wants to do their civic duty and pay their fair share to have a functioning society. And listen, I'm not above it, especially since we now have fascists running our government. These tax benefits are certainly appealing. However, I did look into this a bit more, and it turns out the real way to save on your taxes is to fake your own death. Something that we should consider when it gets tight. If we start looking back through history, marriage does start to make a bit more sense. If this was a different time, our wedding could have brokered a truce between the warring towns of Asbury Park and Ocean Grove. Perhaps we could have even torn down the gates that block the bridges after it gets dark. Yeah. Racist town. Of course, we cannot talk about marriage without talking about love. Love is a funny idea. It's something my family never really says to each other. I often think people throw the word around a little too lightly. In fact, I waited over 30 years before I told someone I was dating I love them. You're welcome. But when it comes to expressing my love for you, there's truly no more romantic way I can think of than to sign some papers we got from Lisa at the Highlands Municipal Building for $28. Despite my cavalier attitude toward the idea of marriage, there is one factor that needs to be considered more than all, and that's you. You are the nicest person I've ever met. You genuinely care about things and feel in ways I can't even comprehend. You wear your emotions proudly, and I find that incredibly inspiring. You make me laugh constantly, even occasionally on purpose. You're hot as hell, and a fantastic partner. Building this relationship has been one of the easiest and most worthwhile things I've ever done. I love traveling with you and appreciate all the effort you put into making sure we have the best time, even though I refuse to smile in any of the photos we take together. I love spending time in our home together, watching terrible TV, and recently spending too much time sewing. I love making delicious, albeit different meals together. And I love when you tell me every aspect of your day, and occasionally, if something really cool happens, I'll mention it with as few details as possible. I've never felt like I had to get married, but I've known for years now that I had to marry you. We complement each other in really interesting ways, and I think we've developed a great partnership. I know these are not traditional vows, but I've never had any interest in being a traditional person. I'm not going to make silly promises like, I vow to treat you like a queen, even when you're hangry. Because skipping a meal isn't an excuse for a bad attitude. And I have no respect for monarchies. But I can say that I can't wait to start a family, and I'm excited to spend the rest of our lives together. And finally, to answer my original question, is marriage dumb? Maybe. But I don't strap 240s to my hands every year because it's the smart thing to do. I like doing dumb shit, and I love doing it with you.